Icy Night here with a fan fate. Night Patrol by Foxgear. The story takes place after the defeat of Discord. The sisters, Luna and Celestia, have just started their rule together. Enjoy. It was nighttime in ancient Equestria, a time ponies feared and fled for the safety of their homes. For when the moon rose in the sky and the stars twinkled, the monsters of the forest leave the depths of the darkness and prey on any pony that dared to stay out too late. This did not sit well with a certain princess of the night, Princess Luna, who wished for her subjects to embrace the night and take it all in all its beauty. Luna spoke of her concerns to her elder sister, Princess of the Sun, Celestia, but the elder sister was tied up with the politics of Canterlot that demanded her attention, leaving Luna no choice but to take matters into her own hooves. She would protect her subjects from the night herself. 'Tis a good idea. Now we shall keep our little ponies safe from that which lurks in the dark. Luna spoke aloud in her Canterlot voice, rattling the more friendly creatures of the night. So far, her patrol has taken her into the ever-free forest that surrounded the castle of the royal sisters. Though maybe it should be called the castle of the royal sister, Luna thought sadly, since she has been the only one living in the castle for quite some time now, minus a few servants, of course. Her sister Celestia has been spending more time in the unicorn city of Canterlot as of late, the nobles of Canterlot demanding her input on many matters. The fact that she, the Princess of the Night, was never called was a little disheartening, but she was a warrior. Her ideals didn't fit well with those of the unicorn city. Those matters were better off to Celestia, who was greatly more skilled at dealing with such tasks. Still, they could send a letter, Luna muttered, trotting into the nearby village. So far, no monsters have appeared, a good thing. The village's pitiful defenses would never hold back any sort of attack, mainly because there were no defenses. Best to move on to the next town. Ouch! Luna rubbed her head, looking down at the object that had just hit her head. It was an apple, strangely enough. She was still getting her bearings when an orange blur flew at her. "I got you now, you varmin!" A voice shouted, tackling the princess to the ground. The two struggled for a bit, Luna gaining the advantage due to her size, strength, and experience. "No, 'tis I who have you. Now explain post-haste as to why you dare attack the Princess of the Night," Luna demanded, her Canterlot voice shaking the nearby houses and waking the entire village. Lights from the nearby house revealed her attacker to be an orange earth pony mare wearing a brown cestin with 5 apples branded on her flank. The mare scrambled to kneel before the princess, spewing apologies. "I'm mighty sorry, your highness. It's just we've been having a mighty bad time with monsters lately, and I thought you might be one. I was just looking out for my kin. Please do not be too mad, and if you are, just punish me. It was my idea." "Calm thyself, young one. We were taken by surprise as all. No harm was done. Now raise and speak your name. I wish to know it." "Applejack, of the Apple Clan. At your service, your highness." "Applejack? A strange name for a mare, but it seems to fit you." Luna grinned, helping Applejack to her hooves after the mare refused to rise. "Now what creatures have plagued you?" "We are here to rid you of the creatures that plague the night." "You are? That's great, thank you, Princess Luna, Applejack cried, along with the many members of the Apple clan. Please, just call me Luna. My sister and I are Equestrian's guardians first, and its princesses second. Though I'm beginning to wonder if Celestia still thinks that. Now, on to the matter at Hoof. Where are these creatures, and what are they? They come from the forest over yonder. They're big and have one huge eye. What do you call them, Applecris? Applejack asked a green-toned mare. Cyclops, Cousin Applejack. They're Cyclops. Oh, right, Cyclops. Those thugs have been taking our kin for weeks now, and there isn't anything we could do to stop them, Applejack explained, teary-eyed. Fear no more, subjects. We have rid you of this menace once and for all. The town cheered. We simply need a guide to take us to their lair. At that request, the ponies stopped cheering and ran back into their houses, leaving only Luna and Applejack left. I suppose you will be my guide then, Applejack? You bet I will. I'll even join you in the action. Very well, lead on, Applejack. The two mares walked in silence through the night, the moon and stars lightening the path for them. They were deep in the more untamed parts of the ever-free forest. These parts of the forest were out of reach of the Tree of Harmony, located beneath the castle of the two sisters. The woods themselves came alive through the power of chaos left behind by discord, and now it was that very same chaos seems to have attracted the attention of other more foul creatures. When was the last time I saw a Cyclops in Equestria? Not since I was excellent. Since I was an adolescent, I believe. Luna kept a close eye on the surrounding forest, ever watchful for danger. Cyclops, as big and stupid as they were, could be very sneaky. They could stand as still as a statue for hours, simply waiting for their prey to walk by them. There could be a Cyclops near them right now, and they wouldn't know until it moved. Of course, their gray skin tone, it blends in so well with the shadows of the night. So what's it like being a princess? Must be nice, right? Applejack asked, looking nervously at the dark canopy. Luna smiled softly at the gray-orange mare. Of course, she could be nervous. Ponies don't usually venture out at night. It has its perks, Luna answered. Her smile widened as the thought of all the fun she and her sister had in their first years of ruling, and then things changed. They changed. It also requires you to give up a lot in return. A bit of advice from an insider? Luna leans in close and whispers, don't become a princess. No matter how good they make it sound, it's all very stressful. Applejack's eyes widened, causing Luna to chuckle at the sight. Is it really that bad? Regaining control of herself, Luna answered. No, not really. Mostly it's the nobles that get tiring. Always on about this and that, it really is exhausting. More so is how fake every pony seems. They are always plotting and scheming, planning their political agenda. I prefer the simpler things. Things like this, where I am useful. Silently, the two mares continued on, the soft sounds of the night making a rhythmic melody as they traveled. Luna kept her gaze straight ahead, her ears perked up and twitching at every sound, cataloging everything she heard and saw in search for anything out of the norm. Applejack did roughly the same, though her attention turned more towards the Princess of the Night, her thoughts running wild. How can a pony that has everything still look so sad? Doesn't she have any friends or something? So what do you do all day or all night? I suppose as Princess of the Night, you sleep during the day, right? Applejack wanted to face Hoof. You didn't sound intelligent, AJ. She probably thinks you're just some apple-brained simpleton. A simple misconception, Luna answered. I'm awake during the day, most of the time. I merely stay awake for Celestia's sake. She enjoys having morning breakfast together. At least she used to, when she was home. I guess I can say we balance night and day. Why are you staring? Applejack chuckled awkwardly. Sorry, it's just you said I instead of we. It's kind of funny. I just assumed you always spoke in fancy. Luna chuckled. We mean, I suppose it is rather funny. We just enjoy speaking this way. Plus, it is tradition. But, which do you prefer, Applejack? Applejack shrugs. Whatever you like. Don't change for me, Princess. I mean, Luna. We enjoy your honesty, Applejack. Luna stiffens. Something was watching them. Applejack? Be careful. Luna whispers, unfolding her wings to reveal a set of leather holsters with something metal resting inside. The enemy comes. Time seemed to slow down. 4 Cyclopses burst out in the darkness, reaching for the mirrors. Luna's horns, glowing with magic, drew her weapons on her flank. At first they looked like a pair of short swords, but a number of soft clicks, and later the blades unfolded, changing into a star shape. Luna let the stars loose. They spun as they flew through the air, their blades shining in the moonlight. They hit the Cyclops with a loud clank, indicating they hit something rather than fleshy Cyclops skin. As the one-eyed monster entered into the moonlight, Luna noticed something very different about these monsters from the past time she saw them. 1, they had a horn upon their head, and 2, their skin was made entirely of stone, like a golem. She wonders what other changes there could be. One of the Cyclops' eyes began to glow. Quickly, Luna pushed Applejack out of the way as of a fiery beam of death that shot from the monster's iris. That's definitely new. A burning ditch was all that remained of where they once stood. In light of these recent developments, Luna decided and tactical withdrawal was in order. Run, Applejack! The farm mare scrambled to her hooves, but the loose stone beneath her caused her to lose her footing and slip. As one of the Cyclops reached for her, Luna made a split-second decision. She jumped in the way. Run and get help. Get my sister, Luna ordered, as Cyclops gripped her in its hands. She struggled to break free, but suddenly felt her magic being drained. That's new too. Princess Luna! Applejack screamed as the Princess of the Night was knocked out and carried away. All but one of the Cyclops left, and it stood right in the path of Applejack's escape. Oh, Celestia. The farm pony gulped as the monsters reached for her. Her body began to tremble with fear, but then a burning heat flowed throughout her body. No! Not like this! You ain't going down like some yellow belly. I'm going to fightin'. With a frantic scream, Applejack turned and readied her apple bucking stance and bucked with all her might. Her body beginning to glow bright orange, and her hoofs connected with the stone Cyclops, shattering it to pieces. What the hay was that? The glow around her died down, leaving Applejack confused. Did I really do that? she gasped in awe, looking at the shattered Cyclops. Shaking herself of her stir, Applejack headed in the direction where Luna was taken. I gotta help the princess, but I'm feeling kinda tired. Applejack fell to the ground, her body suddenly feeling like she'd run a marathon at full gallop. As her vision gave to the darkness, she saw the shattered pieces of Cyclops piecing itself back together. She felt herself being lifted off the ground before finally passing out. At some point during her trip, Luna had awoken only to be knocked out due to a low-hanging branch. When she awoke again, she found herself in a bared cave with a number of other ponies of varying age. Most of them were fillies and colts, no more than 6 or 8 summers old. Curiously enough, they were all earth ponies, and they all had their marks, apple marks to be exact. There were no doubt they were the missing kin of the Apple Clan. Greeting, fillies and colts of the Apple Clan. We are Princess Luna, and we are here to see you to your safe return home, Luna dramatically declared with the aid of her Canterlot voice. The gathered foals stared at the Princess of the Night with vacant expressions. One red little filly with blonde mane and a musical note with an apple at the end of the note stepped forward. You're not doing a very good job then if you got captured, the filly demanded. Deadpanned. Luna dug her hoof in the ground. Well, it was all part of my plan to find you. Soon my companion will arrive with help and we will be rescued. Way to represent the element of honesty, Luna. Great job lying to foals. Now, what is your name, little one? Applejazz. And Cousin Applejack wouldn't happen to be the companion who's supposed to get help, would she? Why, yes. How did you know? Jazz pointed her hoof to the door of the cage where a Cyclops dumped Applejack into cage. Because I think they got her. Jazz tried over to her cousin, but paused looking confused. Hey, Apple Anna, she asked, addressing a pink coat and mane filly with a pie on her flank. Yeah, Jazz? Applejack had 5 stars for her mark, right? Yeah, what are you getting at? Apple Anna reported, walking up to Jazz. Jazz pointed to Applejack's mark. That don't look like 5 apples to you, does it? Apple Anna shook her head. No, it don't. Stand aside, please. Luna pushed her way past the fillies, looking at the orange mare's flank, where noticeable changes had taken place. In place of Applejack's 5 apples was a big apple with a shield in the background and 2 swords crossed behind the shield. Her mark changed. Does this mean... Luna didn't get a chance to finish as Applejack began to stir. Ugh, what happened? You were captured, dear Applejack. Did you not heed our advice and try to escape? Luna helped the orange mare to her hooves, looking her over for any injuries. Applejack frowned. Her head was throbbing, and she still felt exhausted. However, the sight of the little foals brought a smile to her face. Jazz, Anna, the rest of y'all, you're alive! Applejack exclaimed happily, pulling all the foals in for hugs. I thought you all been gobbled up. Thank the sisters you're alive. We doubt neither Celestia's nor my influence had any part in the foals' continued good health. Our captures seemed to have another purpose for them besides consumption. I wonder what it could be. Luna rubbed her chin, thinking of what any pony would want with foals. From a poor family, and we're earth ponies. We don't have time for that. We gotta get these younglings out of here, and fast. You're correct, Applejack. And propose of this crime can be analyzed later. Now stand back. I will get us out. Luna moved to the front of the cage, her horn glowing with magic. She reared back and attempted to pull the bars off, but several beams of magic interfered with her spell, knocking her aside. What is the meaning of this? Peering outside the cave, Luna saw the Cyclops' horns glowing. I guess this means they can use magic, too. It seems to be especially anti-magic spells, meaning any spell I attempt to cast will be interrupted. I need to find another way. That's strange. In the corner of the camp was the Cyclops by itself, away from the others. Most noticeably, its skin was cracked and falling apart. The stone beast was attempting to keep its crumbling frame together, but ultimately failing. A sudden thought came to me. Applejack, did you bug one of the Cyclops before being captured? The farm pony beamed with pride. Darn tootin', and don't know how, but the gobbler was reaching for me, and I turned and bugged him with all my might. He crumbled like pie crust. But afterwards, I got real tired and fell asleep. Sucker must have come up and captured me. As I thought, there just might be another way out. If unicorn magic was being blocked, then one must use a different pony magic. Applejack, I have a plan, but I need your help. Now, can you tell me what you were feeling when you kicked the Cyclops? Applejack hesitated, nervously digging her hoof in the ground, and don't usually open up on my feeling, but if it helps us get out of here. I was feeling hopeless, yet angry about not being able to protect my kin. I wish I had the strength to hurt all those lousy varmints. Next thing I knew, my hooves were bucking through that thing like a hammer to butter. We knew it. You have awakened Earth Pony magic. Applejack reared back in surprise, and the count of Luna's excited face right in her face. What are you talking about, Princess? Earth ponies don't have magic other than from growing. Luna shook her head. No, Applejack, that's not true. Earth ponies aren't just connected to plants. They're connected to the very earth itself, which is full of magic. You may not be able to use magic like unicorns, but this magic is nonetheless just as powerful. Is it why my cutie mark changed? Perhaps I would hazard a guess that you simply found a new destiny. Tell me what you did your old mark represent. My family, Applejack replied, looking lovely at the captured foals. One apple for me, my mom, my pa, my sister, and my big brother. And of course, all the other apples as well. Good. Now, what do you think your new mark means? Looking at the new mark on her flank, Applejack studied it carefully. An apple, a shield, and swords. And I think it means I'll protect my kin. The orange glow escaped from Applejack's body again. Her eyes turned pure white due to the amount of magic flowing through her body. Good, Applejack, now together. For Equestria! Luna began to glow, her eyes white as she drew on the earth pony magic inside her. For Equestria! The mares yelled together, kicking the door of the cage right off its hinges. The two dashed out of the cave, mere blurs of blue and orange, and Cyclops threw into action, firing beams of fire, swinging clubs and bolts of magic from their horns. But they were too slow. With a gleeful cackle, Luna launched into the air and axe-kicked two of the stone monsters. Into a third, she sliced down the length of its body, like her hoof cutting him down the middle. AJ, meanwhile, was on the back of one Cyclops, hopping and hollering, swinging a lasso over her head. She roped another Cyclops and pulled and caused the two Cyclops to crash into one another, and then proceeded to pound them to cobbles. In a matter of minutes, the 8 Cyclops were no more than a mere pile of pebbles. Luna gathered the remains and blasted them to the moon. There, that should take care of them. Now we hear a huzzah for our victory. The cheers of the foes were like music to Luna's ears as they flocked to her, praising her and thanking her for rescuing them. She tried to retain her regal air. She really did, but the excitement was too much. The biggest smile broke out across her face as she lifted the foes into the air with her magic and danced excitedly around the now ruined camp. They are praising me. They appreciate my efforts. I'm loved. Just like Celestia. Up in the night sky, the stars began to shine brighter than ever before. Their sheer brilliance captured the attention of the foes as they were memorized by their twinkling glory. Whoa, so pretty. Jazz and the other foes says as they stared, seeing the beauty of the night sky for the first time. Luna looked, a single tear fell from her eye as she looked at her wonderful sky. Yes it is, she whispered. I can't remember the last time the sky lit up like this. Have I been slacking, or maybe I just didn't think it was worth the effort to make like this anymore? Wiping away her tear before any pony could see it, Luna addressed the foes. Alright, that's enough. Time to get you little ones home. Will we have to walk through the forest? One of the fillies asked, shivering fearfully at the mere idea of it. The cheerful mood was killed as the fact they were still in the middle of the dark forest, filled with more hungry creatures lurking in the dark. Looking over to Applejack, Luna saw that the orange mare was exhausted. Using her new magic ability, had worn the mare out to the point she could barely stand. To make matters worse, there were too many foes for Luna to lead safely through the forest. 2 or 3 she could manage, but 10 plus Applejack? No. It was too easy for something to snatch one up without her notice. But she couldn't risk running them in smaller groups, leaving the rest to wait for her return. Any number of things could happen. She had to find a way to bring them all back at once. A shadow passed over the clearing. Luna looked up to see a large cloud passing over. Stay here, I shall return shortly. Taking to the sky, Luna captured the cloud with her hooves and brought it down to the clearing. Come here, pony, climb on. You know we're not Pegasi, right? Jazz stated matter of fact. We do indeed, little one, but you forget who you speak to. With a flash of her horn, Luna cast a certain spell on the Applejack and foals. Now climb on. The foals hesitated, but Applejack was too tired to deal with them. So she grabbed one by the tail and tossed them onto the cloud. Come on, y'all. You heard the princess. Now get moving, she ordered, tossing another foal. To her surprise, they didn't fall through the cloud. With that knowledge, the foals willingly climbed onto the cloud. Applejack was the last one to hop on after checking the camp for any stray foals. That's all of them. Let's get going, Princess, Applejack said tiredly, as she collapsed next to Luna. Softest bed I ever lay on. Wake me up when we're home, please. Luna chuckled at the farm ponies' antics and set the cloud in motion, heading towards the Apple Clan's settlement. It was nearly morning when Luna arrived back at the Apple settlement, and once again that night her heart was set aflutter as the foals ran to their parents. The sight was something to behold, and there were no words that could probably describe the scene in front of her. Perhaps heart-warming comes close, but how long will it last? Of course, my ever-tactical mind, not even a minute has passed, and I'm already picturing disaster. Everywhere Luna looked, she saw what could happen to the poorly defended settlement. The Cyclops may be gone, but what will come next? Timberwolves? Trolls? Orgs? Ghoul ponies? Griffins? By the moon, these ponies were way too vulnerable. Preparing for her Canterlot voice, Luna spoke to the gathering ponies. Everyone, if we may have your attention. All movement stopped as the Apple Clan gave their full attention to the Princess of the Night. Luna walked into the middle of the crowd to ensure all hear what she had to say. Due to the danger and your lack of defensive measures, we, Luna Princess of the Night, invite the Apples to thine castle for refuge and safety, until the time in which thou art able to properly defend thyself. What say you? The ponies murmured again amongst each other, divided about what to do. One hoof, it would be nice to have a safe place to properly build their settlement and work their crops, but on the other hoof, the Apple Clan tradition was to do everything themselves, no matter the obstacle. They could risk their foals, though. Could they? Was tradition that important? The debate dragged on until one pony voiced her opinion. I say we take up the offer, Applejack declared loudly, drawing a number of surprised gasps from her kin and a happy smile from the stern princess. We can't build a home safe for the younglings if we can't keep the younglings safe, and we can't keep moving from place to place every time things get too tough. Winter is coming and we need shelter. All ponies that are with me, raise your hoof and say aye. The other apples still hesitated, their stubborn pride getting the better of them. Aye, a bold little voice declared. The crowd of ponies moved aside to reveal little Apple Jazz with her hoof raised high. Aye, another foal shouted, this time from Apple Anna. As more of the rescued foals stepped up and raised their hooves, so did their parents. Soon enough, the entire Apple Clan held up their hooves and smiled at the sight. Excellent. Gather what you can carry. The rest will be retrieved next evening after the day's work is done. We march for the castle post-haste once you are ready. The march to the castle wasn't long, taking only an hour or so for the convoy of ponies to trot down the old road that ran to the castle. Luna flew overhead, circling from front to back to ensure the convoy's protection. She also noticed the road was in rough shape due to poor maintenance. Repairs were in order. Ponies were going to be using the road daily. At least the bridge was in fine shape. She was sure the arcing stone structure would last 1,000 years before it ever fell into the gorge that divided the castle grounds and the forest. We are here, Apple Clan. Say hello. Your new home, Luna directed the clan into the main hall of the castle, giving the castle staff quite a shock as they entered. There are many rooms available, but please try to fit as many as comfortably possible, so every pony may have a room. Breakfast will be in a few hours. Please rest till then. As the apple ponies spread out, Luna blocked the path of a certain orange mare that looked like she was about ready to drop dead on the spot. Please, Applejack, come with me. I have a special place in mind for you. Applejack nodded, tiredly, following the blue mare up the stairs to the higher tier of the castle. She was wobbling on the hooves by they got wherever it was Luna was taking her. Please rest here, Applejack, Luna asked, helping the farm mare into a large midnight blue bed. Applejack let out an exhausted sigh as her head hit the pillow. This is the comfiest bed ever. Luna chuckled, using her magic to tuck in the mare. Rest well, my friend. There is much work to be done tomorrow. Looking at the night sky, Luna calculated she had about 3 more hours before she had to lower the moon. Some late night research should pass the time. I wanted to confirm my suspicions about Applejack's new mark, and also see if there is any reason that Cyclops were that strong. It just doesn't seem natural. With her mind swirling, Luna trotted off to the castle library. It was early dawn as Celestia, Princess of the Sun, flew home, raising the sun as she crossed the sky. She's been gone from home for a long time, about 2 months, if she recalled correctly. The ponies in Canterlot were always so demanding, and with royal family passing all their power onto her and Luna, things got even more hectic. Some pony even suggested a move to Canterlot, though it would make things easier. I feel Luna may not be so excited. Luna had never liked Canterlot all that much, preferring their castle in the Everfree Forest with its quiet nights and natural beauty over Canterlot's ever-growing population and stonework. Not that I blame Luna. I'm rather fond of our castle, but as rulers we should really put our subjects first. Another thing that was bothering the white mare was Luna's lack of attention to her royal duties. She never came with her when they were called to Canterlot, opting instead to stay at the castle alone. Of course, Celestia could hardly blame Luna for that either. Politics were rather boring, and Star Swirl really had to twist Luna's leg to get her to agree to become Equestria's ruler of the night. Luna was always the more adventure type of pony. As was I once. But it's time to grow up, I'm afraid. As Celestia neared the castle, she flew around to Luna's balcony and spotted a lump in Luna's bed. She couldn't have gone to sleep already, has she? We haven't had our breakfast yet. I better check on her. She might not be feeling well. Landing softly as she could on the stone floor, Celestia tiptoed over to Luna's bed. With her horn alight with yellow magic, she gently pulled away the cover to reveal a brown hat. Ripping the covers of the bed, Celestia was flabbergasted to find a small orange earth pony sleeping in her sister's bed. The pony had the most particular cutie mark on her flank, an apple, a sword, and a shield. More importantly, though, where's Luna? Celestia panicked as the mare yawned, rubbing the sleep from her eyes. You there! Who are you? What have thou done with my sister? Celestia shouted, using her own Canterlot voice, causing the room to shake and the mare to to jump out of bed with a fright, her eyes as wide as dinner plates as Celestia got right in her face. "Alasthi again! Where is thine sister? I really need to brush up on my royal speak. I'm getting rusty." "Answer!" Celestia demanded, causing the mare to tremble and cover her face with her hat. Celestia raised her hoof and preparing a mock strike to further intimidate the mare when Luna trotted into the room. "You make it so hard to read, dear sister. Now stop tormenting my guests and come eat breakfast." The others are getting impatient. "Come along, Applejack. It's time for food," Luna shouted excitedly, levitating the orange mare off the ground and carrying her off, leaving Celestia standing alone, stupefied. "Guests? Since when does Luna have guests? And what others?" Confused and curious, Celestia trotted after them towards the main dining hall, where she heard a roar of happy chatter echo down the corridor. Walking into the light, she was welcomed to the sight of 100 or more earth ponies seated at a large dining table, with food stacking high, most of it apples. In fact, it was all apples. "Come over here and sit with us, sister. These ponies make the most amazing dishes we have ever tasted. And it's all made from apples. Can you believe it?" Luna chatted, silently munching on an apple flitter. Luna was seated in her usual spot, the orange mare seated to her right, leaving Celestia her regular chair. "I believe I can," Celestia stammered. As she took her seat, some pony placed a fresh hot plate of goodies from baked apples to apple cake in front of her. "Who are all these ponies, Luna?" "Well, let them introduce themselves. It's rather amusing. Everyone, this is my sister, Princess of the Sun. Celestia, please feel free to introduce yourselves." Apple Jazz, Apple Annie, and some other ponies jumped in front of Celestia, nearly giving her a heart attack, and shouted, "Where are they?" they began excitedly. And then they were joined by every pony in the room. "Apple Clan!" It's like 100 Lunas shouting at once. Celestia thought as the sheer noise of the greeting was sure to leave her deaf, at least temporarily. "Nice to meet you all," Celestia greeted meekly. There was no way to compete with a greeting like that. With introductions out of the way, the ponies dug into their breakfast with gusto. Celestia could hardly manage to take a few bites before she was full. This food was very filling, and they're still eating? Celestia watched in awe as the mountain of food slowly disappeared before her eyes. When all was eaten, the mares of the Apple Clan began gathering the dishes while the stallions headed towards the door. Where are they going?" Celestia asked. "To their fields, dear sister. They're settler ponies, but they were having a hard time making proper shelters while working in the fields, and with winter coming soon, I decided to invite them to the castle. Since we have all these extra rooms, they make the place much more lively, don't you think?" "Yes, they certainly do," Celestia agreed. Where are you going, Luna?" Luna paused at the stairs and turned. "To sleep, I'm afraid. I'm very tired. I'll see you in the evening, Celestia. Applejack, if you please follow me, I'll show you to your own room before I retire." "Okay, Princess." Applejack carefully made her way to Luna, Celestia's gaze following her with every step. The Princess of the Sun raised a suspicious brow at the orange mare. "A friend, Luna?" Luna chuckled. "More than that, dear sister. She is a comrade." "I beg your pardon. I'll explain later to you. I suggest you rest too. It's a long trip back to Canchelot. With that, Luna bound up the stairs, Applejack on her heels. How long has it been since Luna called me Tia? Or even smiled or laughed like that? Wait. What about Canchelot? Celestia's horn glowed in a puff of magic. A scroll appeared in front of her with Canchelot seal embroidered on it. I can't even get a break. Celestia whines, resting her head between her forelegs. Applejack followed Luna, passing the princess's room and all the other bedrooms till they reached the library. Princess, this doesn't look like a bedroom, and I really need to get out to the field. Luna smiled as she levitated several books onto a nearby table, stacking them nearly 20 high. I'm afraid you have more important things to do, Applejack. There's much to learn and very little time. Learn? Luna nodded. Yes, learn, Applejack. As of this moment, you are my prodigy. My protege. I will teach you how to use your awakened earth pony magic and much more. So much more. Now I expect you to have at least 3 of these books read by the time I awaken this evening. I'll inform your kin that you will not be joining them. Wait, Princess, it was too late. The door was slammed shut, and it wasn't budging no matter how hard Applejack tried to open it. With no other option, Applejack hunkered down on a cushion and opened a book. Only there was one problem. What in the hay is this language? I can't read any of it. As Luna tried off to bed, her mind was busy with plans and preparations. Mentally, she listed off all the things she would need to set things in motion. I need warriors, arms, blacksmiths, minerals and materials, and so many more things. It was foolish to think I could patrol the night all on my own. I may have the strength of 1,000 ponies, but I can only cover so much ground at a time. I need comrades like Applejack. Ponies who are willing to do what needs done. Together we will guard ponies from the night. Luna threw herself under the covers, almost too excited to sleep. Her final thought before she drifted off to her own dreams was, I will need a name. Maybe something simple like Night Patrol. End of chapter 1. I hope you guys enjoyed this wonderful fanfic of chapter 1. I will be reading chapter 2 here in a couple of days, so please be on the lookout for that one. In the meantime, this is Icy Night, signing off.